Hey guys, Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you, and I have got a bit of show and tell to do today. This is, of course, a zero tolerance 0640, but as you can see, the scales have been switched out. This is not my knife. It belongs to at Ontario Knives, my buddy Bradley, who lives here in town, fellow knife guy. This knife, you may recall, I reviewed the 640 a while back, and it was a pretty positive review. And I actually like this knife quite a lot. It's slim, it's got lots of cutting edge. It's, a bit of a departure for ZT because you're used to seeing these big, massive, hulking things. So easy to carry, highly utilitarian, just a really, really good knife. Of course, it's based on the Emerson Viper. Now, because of that Viper connection, I guess, they went with this green green carbon fiber. And look, let me share something with you from a kid who grew up playing with dinky cars in the 80s and 90s. Taking a whatever else it may be, if it's a car, if it's a pencil, if it's a I don't care what, and trying to tie it into a snake usually turns out badly. And I get the Viper connection, and I get the green kind of reminiscent of snake scales and all of this, but please no. Okay, just avoid taking your design cues from snakes is a good piece of general advice. And so the scales are gone, and these new scales from Sharp Dressed Knives are here, and these things, look at that, absolutely beautiful. Now, these were the pick that Bradley made. If I would have had this knife and I would have kept it, and the fact is, I love the knife, but you just can't keep all the knives. That's the reality of the situation, especially if you're a YouTuber. Or at least maybe I can't. I can't afford to have, the number of knives that have gone through my hands is like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And to keep them all, that kind of inventory, just isn't realistic for me. So I let this knife go. But at the time, I thought to myself that, I would put some micarta scales on here. Sharp Dressed Knives was doing them as well, and still is. Bradley, having different tastes than me, went this route, and it is phenomenal. Look at look at that. Just totally, totally impressive. Absolutely gorgeous scales. So I'm not going to take a long time, guys. Let me just give you a quick rundown on this knife, why I think it's fantastic, and my thoughts on changing out the scales in general. So first of all, I think this is a really nice design. I think it's a highly utilitarian blade. It can do anything you want your folding knife to do. It carries very slim in pocket. So for all those reasons, I think this is a great folding knife. The size is right, the weight is right, the feel in hand is right. The action is spectacular for this is a knife that's on washers, and check that out, right? It's just a free dropper, and I would cut myself, so I don't want to go any further, but look at that. Really, really spectacular. So I love this knife. I think it's one of the better ZTs out there, but I just didn't like the scales. And of course, there were some issues with the clip here. Initially, this clip was so flat, and I've talked about this as well, but this one was modified by the original owner just to have a little more space. So essentially all I did was put this in a vise, bent this up, bent this back down, and then I think he bent the end as well, just to make that angle a little easier on your pocket. And it's perfectly done, and it's a pretty easy modification that I think anyone can do. Okay, and so now Bradley has changed out these scales and made this into an epic knife. It really, really is spectacular. In terms of those couple little things that we talked about that weren't perfect initially, well, for one, the scales are gone. This clip is already fixed. And so this makes this, it makes this into a great knife. Now, the only problem that I would present, or the warning that I would issue before you run out and start looking for this knife and then go to put scales on it, is, it is a really, really nice knife without question. But putting these scales on, they probably run around $100, and this is already a $240 knife. So unless you can find a great deal on the secondary or something like that, this is now a pretty expensive knife, right? This is, you're now into it for 300 and some odd dollar, around 350 bucks probably by the time you pay shipping on everything that you've bought. And that becomes a little bit of a challenge for me. Okay, um, as it sits, if this was sitting in a store to be purchased, would I buy this for $350? I don't know. There might be other things that I would put my money to at that price point. So that's my only warning. Now, if you love this and this is just the most perfect thing in the world for you, yeah, 350 bucks makes total sense. And I will say these scales are worth every penny of the extra money. They do really make this knife pop, make it look fantastic. And that's how I want to finish this video off. Just let's close the knife because everyone's seen the blade lots of times. And let's just look at the layering in those scales. That is spectacular. So Bradley, you have a gorgeous, gorgeous knife on your hands here. Consider me officially jealous. This is fantastic. And Sharp Dressed Knives, you have done a great job on these scales. They look so, so good. Really, really well done. So, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Let me know what you think. I always struggle with that logic that I kind of work through in terms of modding a knife. But if you've done it and you've got something you really love that's a grail for you, I think it's totally worth it. And in this case, I know Bradley is absolutely enamored with this knife. And frankly, so am I. This is really, really spectacular. And I think changing out these scales really makes this knife what it was meant to be. So if someone from ZT is watching, if you could please do a sprint run don't make the blade black. Please don't make the blade black. Please don't make the blade black. But leave the satin blade, put some different scales on it, maybe run it in a different steel to make it special instead of making it a black blade. Please, no black blades. Anyway, do something different than green, and I think you would do really, really well. Then people could just buy it from ZT and have something really cool. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget, I'll put a link to DLT Trading down below. DLT Trading helps the channel a lot. They do have a lot of nice high-end stuff. They especially have a great stock of ZT, and they've had some great sales recently. Now, I don't think they're on right now, but if you save that link, use it when there is a sale, or use it when you're trying to pick something up that they have, that would be greatly appreciated. All right, we'll talk to you soon.